Troubleshooting basics. You gotta know how to troubleshoot a system. And troubleshooting a computer is no different than troubleshooting a car, troubleshooting a dishwasher, troubleshooting a washing machine or dryer. It's the same thing. CompTIA has their model, but if you've done troubleshooting on anything else, you're gonna find it really is the same. Identify the problem. And you get this from talking to the user, hear what's happening, establish a theory of probable cause. What's probably doing this? Test the theory to determine the actual cause, and then establish your plan of action to actually come up with a solution, implement that solution, then verify that it worked. If it doesn't work, you're going to go back a few steps and start working on this again. But if it does, you're going to document your findings, your actions, and the outcome. So if someone has to work on this in the future, they'll be able to just look at your documentation and figure out what's happened. If something else goes wrong, they're going to know what you did and why you did it. So where do you get information? Where's the documentation? Well, the vendor may have created product manuals. The manufacturer has a website. Manufacturer websites are usually a great source of information. Manuals from systems that are 5, 10 years old are sometimes there. You can find a lot of stuff. Sometimes the manufacturers, unfortunately, remove older stuff. And you're looking for something that's old. Good luck. You might have to go to technology-related knowledge bases, sites dedicated for it. You know, there's always Google. Google should not be your first choice. It should be somewhere down the list. Manufacturer, I'm going to trust more. Your own creation, notes for customer-specific environments, paper or software, however they're stored in a database or in a folder. Your organization scheme, level of detail that you have. Forums, online discussion groups, general or specific, hopefully ones that deal with that particular product because you're going to get more feedback. And many of those are hosted by the vendor themselves. And they could be monitored or unmonitored where someone's adding comments in or removing things that are inappropriate, because many of these discussion groups get spammed with all types of inappropriate things that have nothing to do with the issue. Other sources, trade magazines, websites. Google is your friend. Yahoo is your friend. I guess Bing is your friend if you work at Microsoft or have not changed your default search provider in Internet Explorer. You can use that and do a search. Your fellow employees, they're probably technicians as well. They may have encountered these issues. News groups that exist, trade shows, vendor group meetings, independent consultants that could come out. There's always someone with other skills that can help you. So it's just a matter of being able to find those skills, find that knowledge. Since most of the stuff you're going to be dealing with is Microsoft-based operating systems, problem and solution references exist for the client and server and applications from Microsoft. They have a knowledge base. You can search for specific errors. You can search Microsoft's site for strange things. You can download patches, new releases, things that may fix things, see notes or issues that have not been fixed. Here's an example of a knowledge base article. It tells you what operating systems it applies to, what versions it applies to, what it fixes, what the issue is. And from this, and here it is, how to troubleshoot volume activation error codes on Windows 7, Windows Server 2008, and Vista-based computers. So you get one of those errors, you found this knowledge base article, here's what it applies to, and here's how to deal with it. Some of these are very helpful. Some of them not so much so, unfortunately. But that's how any resource is going to be. Sometimes it's going to be spot on, sometimes it's not going to be quite there. You may have to continue to search. Hardware-related systems, look for visual clues. If there's status lights that came on, such as, the printer's not printing. Oh, there's a little message on it that says, out of paper. I have a feeling I know the issue. It could be out of paper. Boy, that sounds so condescending. But it is that simple sometimes. Little alert messages. If you notice damages, frayed wires. I've seen a lot of computers, you open them up and, the system might have been standing vertically, but when you work on it, you turn it on its side and you notice these wires that have been frayed, the insulation beaten off of it. Well, that quite often happens because the wires were leaning against the fan when it was turned the other way. And when they hit the fan, they just slowly stripped away the insulation. Okay? Hopefully it gets taken care of. You have that stuff replaced. Okay? Look for that noticeable damage. If you smelled something from a computer, that's usually a real bad sign. Electrical burning smell, smell of excess ozone, acrid smell, something's wrong. That system probably should not be used until it's corrected. Look for unusual noises from the fans, mechanical hard drives. In the case of the fans, you hear anything outside of a smooth sound of the airflow. That fan is probably dirty. You hear a grinding noise. You got dirt in around the bearings. That fan is going to go bad. Hard drives, if they're not making their normal little tick, 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 tick type sounds as they're reading, it could be the hard drive slowly heading towards failure. Now, some brands of hard drive have been traditionally noisier. Some have been traditionally quiet. And I know this is going to vary, and I'm going to give some examples. And, some of you can say, well, the last one I bought of that brand wasn't like that. Well, maybe it isn't. But I remember thinking, okay, I buy a Western Digital, it's going to be a little noisier. I buy a Seagate, it's going to be a little quieter. The IBM TravelStar, Hitachi TravelStars, they're going to be quiet. Now, the noise level in no way infers any quality issue with any of these. I happen to like those Western Digital ones, but they were noisier. I just knew that, but I knew the noise they would make, and it wasn't a horrid, awful noise. It was just louder than other brands. You notice excessive heat. Heat kills computers. That CPU gets hot, it fries, it's dead. Northbridge gets hot, it fries, it's dead. Even that Southbridge, it's pushing enough data through, it could fry and go dead. Be careful. Computers should not get hot. Laptops should not be getting hot. If they're getting hot, there's something wrong. Probably not enough airflow. Is the fan blocked? Look for clues like that.